recording, which is also helpful. So the webinar that we're going to be doing, so the information that we're reviewing is for the Junior Giants. Presumably you're all administrators. Some of you will be new administrators, so your league is new to Junior Giants this year. In that case, welcome. Or you're a new administrator who's not worked with an existing Junior Giants league before, or you are not new, but you just wanted a refresh. We have had some system changes, so it's probably a good idea to just get familiar with the new setup in the system, just so you know how to move around, even if you know what the tasks are. So what we're going to do, just so you know, I'm working alone on this webinar, so I'm not going to be answering questions over the course of the call. Everyone is muted, so if you have questions, then there's a section. If you look over to the right-hand side, typically it's the right-hand side of your screen, there should be a little control bar, and at the top is a red arrow. It'll expand a control panel, and then there's a section in there called questions. So if you type in your question, then I'll be able to read those at the end. I can either answer them at the end, depending on the amount of time that we have. If I don't get to the question, then what I'll do is I'll just send an email to everyone with the questions and answers after the call. And that way, one way or the other, you're going to have answers to what it is that you're looking for. So I'm thinking this is going to take 35 to 45 minutes, depending on, we're having weather here today, which is never ever a good thing for doing any sort of webinar, so hopefully things won't be problematic. But what I think we're going to review today, this is what I'm looking to do. Task to open registrations. This really pertains to existing leagues. We're going to talk about program changes, session changes, registering players and volunteers, using selections. So that's where you start doing tasks like emailing and texting and dealing with reporting. And then everything to do with teams, so creating teams, dealing with rosters, submitting data, and then how do you get help. So I'm just going to get started now, if you don't mind. So right now, I'm sure a lot of you have already signed into your systems, hopefully, and your admin page is going to look like this in front of me. And there's a search bar here. So just to give you an idea, you navigate through the system with these left-hand options, and we're not going to go through all of them. There's a lot of information in there. You can scroll through and just click and see what you find, but we'll hit a number of them on this call. So whenever you need to find someone, so this is my test account. There might not be a Smith in here. Oh, look at that. There's a Smith in every account, I guess. So yeah, if you need to go into someone's account that's already existing or check to see if an account exists, then you would type the last name, and then you can just drill down into the account as you need to do any work. Under that are tasks. So it's going to show you if there are any tasks like printing player passes or things like that. The information will be here. A lot of the tasks are usually associated with money, which the Junior Giants don't have to worry about, so there probably won't be many tasks showing there. You'll see active sessions, so email, text registrants, select registrants. Whenever you see a plus sign, that means that you can make a selection, and then you can do things with that selection. So email, texting, looking at reports. We'll do a little bit of that later, but anytime you see a plus like this, that's good. It's a selection. So the next thing under that, it's the dashboard. So you should have two sessions. For the existing one you sign in, you'll probably just have one. So you'll have the dashboard, which shows the background check. That's always should be continuous registration. And then we'll create we'll copy a session from last year to create the second one. But the dashboard, so I'll click on this, and that will take me to information about that particular session, the active session, so background checks or baseball when we create that. And it's going to show me the number of people who've been background checked. And so if I hit this, then I can email them or look at them. And then manage teams doesn't really apply to background checks. You don't have to worry so much about that, but I will show you when we actually create another session. So there'll be a second one for baseball soon. And then there's always information down at the bottom. There's ways to get help. So when you the live support, right now we're having a company meeting, so this is gray, which means no one is available to talk to you. When it's orange, that means that you can live chat with someone in support to get some answers. Contact us. This is going to give you all the contact information to get a hold of Sign Up Support. So you can email us, which will open up a ticket that you can follow, or you can call our support department toll-free here. And my personal favorite is the knowledge database. So a lot of people, obviously volunteers, work it. Most everyone has another job, and so you might be working off hours. We don't have support 24 hours. We do have East Coast support, West Coast support, but it finishes at, I want to say it's 6 or 7 o'clock on the West Coast. So if you forget how to do something, you can access the knowledge database. There are hundreds of articles in here that might be able to answer your questions. So if you forget how to create teams, you just type it in, and you'll see, so how do I create teams? And it's going to show you step by step how to do whatever task it is that you're looking to do. A lot of the articles also have videos that are associated with a particular article, so you can watch someone go through the process as well if that helps you, which it usually does. People like to watch things. Okay. Oh, my snag it button. Okay, and then any feature enhancements, when we do support blogs, we usually add the information here, and then any new things you can look for the message board. So that's the home page. Now, what I want to do I want to go through the tasks to open up a new session, so a new baseball session, and this applies mostly to the existing Junior Giants, so you did Junior Giants at some point in the past. The new folks, you've been sent information. We want you to fill out the online setup form. I'll update the system. For the most part, it's good to have a little call. If the call doesn't work out, I can send you directions. There's very little that you have to do after I update your system to match your particular needs, but there are a few steps. So either I'll send you information to do it yourself, or we can have a short call to get that done. So to copy the new session, I want you to go on the left-hand side, choose Registrations and Manage Programs. And here are our two programs, so the background checks and baseball. Background checks is already open. And if it's anything but open, if it shows in test mode, then you would click on it and take it out of test mode. But if it's continuous registration, you should be fine. So you're going to copy the session from last year. So you just hit the copy button. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And then it shows in pink. Anytime it's in pink, that means it's in test mode. And it does this strange duplicate, which we want to get rid of that because that looks strange. People will actually see that name, so we want to make sure that it's right. So I hit the settings button. And let's get rid of duplicate. Put 15. Change this so it's 15. So this is really my test account. So there's information in here. People could find this. I don't want them to be registering thinking that they're actually getting a Junior Giants or doing a Junior Giants registration. So I try to give them a warning. Not that people always read it, but that's okay. So now you're going to scroll down, and first thing, uncheck this in test mode button. There's no reason for you to keep it on as far as I'm concerned, because whatever date you put here is going to be the date that the system automatically opens. So I'm going to, gosh, I'm forgetting what is the date today? So I'll do it for yesterday so that it's open and I can test later on. Let's do the 27th. Okay, so these are required steps. So copying your session if you're new, or I'm sorry, if you're existing, I keep saying that, so existing folks, copy your session, change get rid of the duplicate thing, make sure it's 2015. You must put in registration begins, ends, play begins, play ends, take it out of test mode. It's not a lot that's required, but these things are certainly required. And just take a look at your sessions and make sure that they're correct. So these are the Junior Giants standard ones, and you can see the birth date range, so age as of July 1st. If I know that there are quite a number of leagues that don't do the 14 to 18-year-olds, so if you've changed what you've done in the past or you're not offering something, you can always delete a division. You can edit a division. If you do a different parameter, you can change that. You can't make it earlier than 5, so at the very youngest is 5, so they have to be 5 by July 1st. And also wait lists. So if your particular organization wants to deal with wait lists, or they've done it in the past, I don't remember, and I can't test because I don't have it on here, whether or not if you'd set up wait lists for previous years, whether or not it would copy. So just open it up and check it, and the way that you would do it if you decide this year. So let's say that this is a division, it's not a team, so if someone is registering, you would have 60 people that could, or 60 players that could register for the 5 to 7-year-old division, and then if you check this box, there'll be a wait list. So any number of players over 60 will be put on the wait list. An administrator will go in and decide whether or not to accept them or not. If they accept them, they get an email that people have to go in and complete the registration. So that's the way that wait list works. I'll just leave it like that and save. So if you're happy with your divisions, make any edits that you need. I'm actually going to go backwards and look at the program. So consents, if you've had any changes to the consents, now the Giants, of course, have standard consent data that's for the players and for the coaches. So anything that you need to add that's specific to your organization should be added at the bottom of the Giants consent. And of course, it's asked during the registration process. People have 2 options. You either agree and you continue the registration, or you don't agree and you cancel and you were not a part of Junior Giants. So it's considered legal and binding, which is why there's a lot of this here. There's consent that for the Giants are in English and Spanish, but you could just copy and paste your information at the bottom and make sure, just like anytime you add anything, scroll down, make sure you find a blue save button, save your information, or it won't be there and you'll wonder where it is. So those are 2 things. Consent is not required. One thing that is required is that you update your first pitch information, and that's in the post-purchase notice. So this is essentially the receipt. When someone completes the registration, they get an email from us, and it gives them some important information. So this year, I guess, gosh, for as long as I've been doing this, we've had first pitch information, but we've added the coach job description and team parent job description, so they're links to those documents from the Giants. So in here, you'd put whatever your first pitch meeting were, oops, time 6 p.m. And whatever, if you can put directions here if you want, whatever makes sense. And again, blue save button, make sure you save that. So those are the required things that are needed for existing organizations. You do those and you're smiling. If the date's today, then it's going to be open. If the date that you put for registration open date is next Monday, then next Monday at 12 a.m. the system is going to open automatically, as long as you remember to take it out of the test mode. So uncheck that test mode box. Okay, I'm just looking down my list. And that's it. Those are all the tasks that are required to open up registrations for an existing league. Now I want to talk about registering players and volunteers. First thing you need to do is create accounts. So the way that our system works, if you don't know, is we have this concept of family accounts. And we've had problems in the past where people will try to sort of circumvent the correct process by creating an account for a coach and then adding all the kids on that team under the coach. It just creates a huge headache, because now the emails aren't going to go to those kids' parents the way that they should, and the next year that kid's not on that team anymore, and then it's really just a nightmare. So please try to just follow the way that the system is asking, because it's going to give the best data not only to you guys, it's going to give the best experience for the families, but it's helpful for the junior giants too. They need this data at the end of the day, so it's important that you set up an account with adults, so they're either going to be parents or guardians, and then the children that belong, that associate with those particular adults under them. So, soapbox speech over. Let's create some accounts. So there are two ways that you can create an account. You can do it as an administrator, so an administrator who's maybe you're looking at paper forms and you're entering the information in. That's one way. The best way is if people register themselves, because the nice thing about the system is they have access to it at home 24 hours a day, 24 hour at work, wherever they are. As long as they can access the internet, they'll be able to create accounts and register themselves, which is nice for you. So what they would look for, so most people are everyone. We want everyone to start at the Junior Giants website, and then of course find a link near you. And all this information is being updated. It's possible that it already has been updated. I haven't been checking some of the links to see if new links have been added, or there are some that have been some of the existing that have merged, and I don't know if all that has been cleared out, but people will look for a town that's close to them and then click to register now, and it will take them to your sports sign-up system. If you're live, great, they can start the registration process. If you're not live, as long as you've set up your session information, there'll be a countdown so they know when you're going to be opened for registrations. Okay, let's go back to, actually I want to go, I thought I was smart enough to have put up one of my things. Aha! Your welcome page will look something like this. Your information will be up here. Some of the images are changing, so we'll be working on some new banners, and as we update those, I'll just put them up in your system. So for the moment, you might, yours is going to look similar to this with your name on it, and later on we will switch it and it'll look a little bit different. You don't have to worry about it though. Right now it's only saying background checks, and this is because I haven't refreshed this, so it should pick up. Yep, so when I opened up that particular page, background checks were the only session that were open. Now of course there's registration that's open as well, so people will be able to click on here to log in and register. Oh, sorry. I do this. The system keeps seeing me as an administrator, so I just need to... Hopefully this won't be the one last browser page that causes my system to crash. I always have too much open. Let's try again. So if the user has an account already, then they'll put in their email and their password. If they forget it, they can reset their own password and they'll get a new temporary password. If they've never used the system before, then they can create an account. And an end user always has to input an email address, and we want them to input an email address because, of course, over the course of the season, as you need to communicate with these folks, the more email addresses that are correct, the better it is for you. It's just easier to get a hold of them. So I'm not going to, I'm moving back and forth. I don't really want to create an account here. I'm going to create it as a test account, and it's good for you guys to understand where test accounts are. The process is exactly the same, but what I can do with the test account's a little bit simpler. So forget that you're seeing this right now. Just look away from the screen. So as an administrator, you have access. When your account is live, you have the ability to create test accounts, and then you can test the whole process. You can soup to nuts, start to finish, and it won't affect your data. So it's going to see me again. Oh, good. So let's see. really going to create this account. So at the very beginning, it's still seeing my other email. It would have asked me for an email address. And everyone needs to, we ask for first name, last name, some address information. Sure. So then, as I said, you have the ability, what we want you to do is add you or people at home to add as many adults as should be on the system, whoever would access it or might want to get information, so relevant information over the course of the season. So you can add another adult, add a new child. In this case, I'm going to register player. So I'm running out of names. I use the same names all the time. It's almost boring. Let's see, 2004. Make sure that we're picking a date that will actually... 7th grade? I think that's right. Maybe not. So there's a bunch of different data points that are required for someone who's creating an account. So when you're creating a person account for an adult or for a player. So in this case, Giants want to know ethnicity, primary language, so household income. And these are questions that are asked one time. So these person accounts, person level, are asked one time. So my test account has these on. Yours probably don't. So you can see that they're not required. It's nice to know, though, obviously, if a kid has medical issues, allergies, if they're on medications. So hopefully they're filling this information out. And they want to receive emails. MLB wants to know that whoever is creating the account is actually an adult. So I ask for birth date. And the system is only going to show the division that matches the birth date range for that particular child. So in this case, it's 11 to 13-year-olds. And register as player. Now there's a different set of registration questions. So the questions that I answered when I added the child are only asked one time. When I start the registration process, those are questions that are going to be asked every time that child registers. They change year to year, but not so much. Sometimes we add, sometimes we subtract. So does this player need a glove? I'll say yes. Would they be able to play? No. So if you'd like to play on the same team as a sibling or friend, I'll say how many years? 0. Shirt size. And then of course we want to try to solicit any volunteers to help. So if they can help, what would you like to be? So I want to be a team parent. Continue. And then one time it asks for emergency contact because that's important to have too. Relationship development. And then the consent data, I gave you sort of a little preview of it when we were going through the setup. So again, they have to agree or cancel the registration. Now I want to register, so that was registering a player, so I want to register myself, or Bill in this case, to coach. Okay, and I think this is the division that I registered the child for. So, how many years? And then there's a different consent that exists for coaches. And again, they have to agree or cancel. And now I want to checkout. So what happens with the volunteer registration? So if there's a background check required associated with that particular role, once they hit checkout, so once the volunteer hits checkout, it's going to begin the background check process. So it is required. And it's going to ask them, so this is a good thing. Obviously, look, Bill is probably not my legal name, so I'll change that to William, and that will help. Cassandra will be happy that someone updates their name to be their legal name. And for the purposes of this test, so this is another good thing about using the test account. This is why I wanted to use the test account to show you this. If I was coming in from the outside, I would be doing a real registration and a real background check, and I really don't want to do a real background check since I'm sending fake data, so it wouldn't let me continue anyway. When you're in the test account as an administrator, you can go through this process, and the system knows that it's a fake registration, it's a fake background check. You're going to see the information. Whoops. So at the end of this, we'll actually have registration data that we can mess around with, but everything will be washed off unless you delete the orders, which you can really easily. Everything will get deleted automatically at 3 o'clock the next morning, so you don't have to worry about a test registration messing up your numbers after the fact. It'll all just kind of disappear after you test it and learn what you need to learn. So as you see, we have a whole list here of what we call self-admit questions, and so a lot of times you get a lot of information. You ask people questions and they'll admit to things. So this is, if you answer yes to any of these questions, then they ask for an explanation. There's going to be an automatic red flag. So this is something that whoever is managing the background checks for the Junior Giants this year will have to review whatever is written and decide whether or not this is a person that should continue. So for our purposes, I'm just going to put no. I promise I haven't done any of these things. And continue. And there are 3 pages. Oh, wait. Oh, I have to remember what his name was. Oh, I think it was W-A. Eek. I think I just have to. Oh, yeah, William Arda. Look. Or I could just look up. So they have to initial each of these pages. They're different things. Release, authorization to allow us to do a background check, disclosure. So now I can see I have a player registration in my shopping cart, a volunteer registration, and a background check. All of them are free because the Junior Giants are good that way. So now I want to check out, and always make sure that you place the order. So this is completing it. If you just hit checkout and go away, then you haven't actually completed your registration. It's still in your shopping cart or for them too. All right, that's it. So this is the post-purchase information that we updated. So here's the first pitch meeting, and any other relevant. I mean, if you want to put something else on that receipt that's relevant to your organization, please do so. Don't feel like you can't customize this to make it yours. So I'm going to hit done. So now I have registrations. Here's a word of warning. So I was doing this in the environment of a, it's going to see me as a user. I was doing this in the environment essentially of an end user who was sitting at home or wherever doing the registration. That was what their experience would be like. As an administrator, you can help to register people or register people. You cannot take background checks for people. So the system does not like it if you're signed in as an administrator, which I am right here. You can see I'm on the admin homepage, and you try to do background checks for people. At some point, that coach or the team parent or whoever it is that you're trying to help needs to sign in as an end user or create an account as an end user to complete the background check process. It's just super important. But if you're going through and you're creating accounts and helping with player registrations, let's just make sure that you saw that. On the left hand side again, under accounts, it's create account. So this is how an administrator creates an account. Now I already went on the soapbox about how important the email is. It's very, very important. And I know that a lot of people don't have email addresses, so there have been some Junior Giants leagues that have done great things with setting up email addresses for people, because why not? It's free. It doesn't take that long. So if you could create a Gmail account, or Hotmail, or whatever it is that you like, you might actually do something great for that person. Do something great for yourself. So if last case, if they're not going to give you an email address, as an administrator, if you have the ability to create an account with no email address. That's an account that person will never ever be able to get into, ever. So you could make a fake email address, which might be helpful to them. So let's say, for the purposes of this, I'm going to say, I called myself Will Arda, and maybe so something that they could remember and makes sense for your organization. So if I'm Sam Bruno, I could say willarda@sambruno.com. Obviously, it's not a real email address. You put in the relevant information, put as much as you can, and then at least they'll never be able to reset their password. An administrator would still have to help them to get into a system, or get into the system for them, but it's some way. If the email is left blank, then an admin is the only person who'll ever be able to get into that system. So I'm not going to take you through the rest of it. It looks the same. You add first name, last name, you answer questions. All of that looks the same, whether you're an admin or an end user. But that was both variants. So I want to go home and talk to you about selections. So this is where we start doing tasks. And you might create teams first. I'm going to show you selections first, so it's neither here nor there. Which way you're going to go as far as what task you're going to accomplish next. But I'm going to say that you'll communicate with people first. Sure, why not? And as I said, anytime you see a plus sign, that means that it's a selections option. So I'm going to go into, so you can either select it there on the home page. If I select it here, it would be everyone who's registered. So that's going to be players and volunteers. I don't have a lot of people that have registered, but you might. Now if I go into the dashboard for Junior Giants, now I'm going to see that it's split out. So the player information, so if I just wanted to email all the players, then I could select the players here, or I could just select the volunteers, even down to the division. So if I want to just communicate with the players in a particular division, I will click on the plus sign for that, players next to players. And then you can add too. So if I want players and volunteers for a division, then I would hit plus here and plus here. And if you'd notice at the very top of the page, these are all selections menus. They do different things. Most of the time you'll be dealing with this registration selection area, and it turns green when you add something to it with the little dog here. And then whatever number that was selected is going to show right here. So just click on it. So view is going into reports. You can send emails, you can send texts, you can export, you can print passes. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I don't want to cough in your ears. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the list. So view. The system has, Junior Giants reports all have some standard reports that are in them, and then you have the ability to customize and make whatever kind of reports that you want. So background check status is that's a standard report that exists. Coach tracking, player participation program, that's another standard report that exists. I thought there was another one, maybe not. So the system will always default to what's called unsaved view. It's just a tiny bit of information. But I want to show you how to create your own custom reports. So, how about medical information? Sure. So I want the last name of the player, the first name, the role, their assigned team, at this point they're not on an assigned team. So let's put the division over here. And I double clicked on that. So you have two options. You can double click on something, or you can just click on it one time and then use these arrows to either move it this way, move it this way. The available columns, that's all of the information that's been collected from players and volunteers, and that's at the account level or account creation, and also through the registration process. So it's a ton of data. All those data points are in here, and you can just pick and choose whatever is relevant for your particular report. So I want medical info and medications. I'll move those over. Oh, allergies. There we go. And I don't think I've actually answered any of this, so it's not going to be a very exciting report, but the system always asks that you, if you're creating a custom report, it's asking you to put in a name, or it won't save, or it won't view. So you want to do that, and that way it gives you the opportunity to come back and revisit that particular report anytime that you want. So now I have all the information, which is nice. Great. I'm going to show you the background check status as well, so you'll find this easy enough in your system. And this is going to show you, so I have, you can see this, the volunteers are shown in green, players are shown in blue. So if I wanted to see background check status, I want to see it for volunteers. I don't care about players. So I'm just changing the session division information. I just uncheck players. Now let's view report. Or you could sort out the, oh, these unassigned. Oh, wait a minute. So uncheck unassigned volunteers. And there's our William Arda. And we did a fake background check, so it shows us not registered. And I'm trying to think, it's if they've gone through the process and they're eligible, it will say eligible. It will show you the date that they're eligible until. If somehow if an administrator registered them and they didn't go back in and take their background check, then it's going to say not registered, just like this, which is not a good thing. We want them to be registered. If they're ineligible, it will say disqualified. If the background check is in progress, it will say in progress. So there might be a problem with their name. They might have answered yes, and the Giants are looking at them. There might have been some other issue that came up that the Giants are reviewing. So those are the statuses that you can expect to see. If your organization happens to allow children volunteers, so anyone who's younger than 18, the background check is not automatically going to kick in when they go through the registration process. So the only people who are 18 and older can actually take a background check in the system. So another good thing for this particular one, I would add birth date. Here it is. So what happens is if you have someone that's not registered but they have a birth date of, they're younger than 18, well, that's your reason that they're not registered. They're too young to take a background check, but they're still okay to participate. That's background check status. And coach tracking player participation. This is the other report that the Giants have a bunch of player participation. Whoop, doesn't help if I'm looking at the wrong thing. In this case, I want to look at players. So the Giants have a lot of information about players that they're trying to, they have a lot of programs, obviously. So the program participation, so striking out bullying, there's the reading programs, things of that nature. So you can update whether or not. So let's say if I click on the pencil next to any of these, I can update the information. Make sure you save changes. And if I had 50 of these, I could just do them all in a row, but I only have one little player. So save changes, so forth. And then at the end of the season, when we submit the data up, this is all information that's going to be available to the Junior Giants. So it's important whether I'm showing you the view for an administrator who's updating this information, and later on I'm going to show you what it looks like when a rostered volunteer who's been given access, when they can also update this information. Okay, so those are reports. I'm still on selections. Amazing. So I still have those same 2 people. If you want to send an email, then you could just send an email. It's not that tough. If you want to send it to additional people, then you click on the plus sign over here and add emails, and it will send to those people. If you want to include administrators, then you can just choose those people. And if you had 15 people down here and you didn't need to send it to your own kid who's on the team, you can unselect that person. It's self-explanatory once you get into it. Text messaging, just so that you know, people have to opt themselves in to receive text messaging. Uh-oh. Oh, cross your fingers, everyone. We're getting like sleet. It's so miserable outside. We're sick of it. I am anyway. I'm going to try to refresh and hope that it doesn't all go sideways. See if I can go home. What was I saying? Text messaging. Right. So families have to, or parents have to, opt themselves into text messaging because, of course, there could be fees that are associated with it, and so they would do that from their homepage. So when they're in their own account, scroll down. View as account. So they have the get text messaging, so enable text messaging is over here on the side. At least let people know that it's an option. This is the preferred method for a lot of people, and they just need to know how to do it. So once they hit enable texting, they say which, presumably they might have 3 different phone numbers that are associated. They'll choose the phone number that they want, so the correct mobile number, and then they hit enable texting. They'll get a little code which they plug back into the phone. It's pretty easy, but they do have to go through the process to make sure that they can do it. You can export any report information. So if I hit export, current view, it's pulling up all sorts of information. You can create a report. So when we were in those reports before, excuse me, sorry, it's a terrible time of year for colds around here. All we do is get each other sick. I'm going to just cancel out of this and go back to another reports. So if I am in, say, background check status, why not? So whatever view you're looking at is what is going to be exported. So if I click here and export, then it's going to pick up on these particular columns, and it's going to export to Excel. So, which is nice. A lot of people like to deal with data in Excel as opposed to dealing with it on screen. Whatever works for you. So, what else do we have here? Print passes. This is later in the season. I don't expect you to remember all of this either. I just want you to know that this is how, selections is how you're going to accomplish a lot of the tasks that you have in the system. So, print passes. Hopefully you've uploaded photos. That can be done either by the people when they're creating their accounts, or it can be done in mass if you have like a photo day, maybe the coach first pitch or the first pitch, and you take pictures of people there. You can upload pictures to accounts, and you can just select the people that you want. Preview print. It's going to give me a warning because of the background check. I can preview it anyway. It creates an Adobe file. The Giants have special stock, so you guys will be printing these out, or probably your ambassadors will be helping you with printing these out, and they'll just need a laser printer, and it's pretty easy. But don't do what I just did, which was override. It's really important that If someone hasn't taken a background check, they need to have cleared the background check in this system. They need to have cleared the background check, the second background check. So you'll have to make sure that they've done both before you print a pass, because that pass is like telling the parents and everyone that's on the field that this person has been checked actually twice and they're really okay to be working with their kids. So it's important. Just looking at my list to make sure I'm not forgetting any of our tasks. All right, now I'm going to go to Teams. So now we have, let's imagine we have lots and lots of registrations. And we want to go to Teams and manage Teams. And what will typically happen is anyone who goes through the registration process is put into what we call unassigned team. It's just kind of a bin where everybody goes. And then the administrator who's in charge of creating teams starts doing stuff with them. So first thing you want to do is create teams. And I think this is the right division. So let's say black team. You give the team a name, choose the division, and save. So now I have a team. So the unassigned team is going to show everyone who's registered regardless of their division unless you section it off. So right now I'm looking at all, but I could choose to look at just the 8 to 10-year-olds. We know I don't have any registrations in 8 to 10-year-olds, so I have all, but I do have registrations in 11 to 13. So we're back there. Now I've created a team and I want to assign people to it. So you could create all your teams at one time, easy. And then when you're ready, you go to your unassigned team. And you could, if you're moving kids from one division to another, which happens a lot, I mean, you might know for a fact that a particular child, even though they're 11 years old, they've had no experience in baseball, so you want to move them down. You have the ability to do that as an administrator. So you could look at all, and it would list everyone here. Now, my suggestion is these column options. Certainly the existing organizations or existing leagues are going to have a lot of info. The new leagues probably don't. So you'll click on column options and you'll recall back to reports where I had all of that information. Pull over as much information as is going to help you assign kids to the correct place. So division is good, gender is good, comment is good because people will write crazy things, which I love. Grade is always nice, play with request, returning player. So it's going to give you an idea about how much experience they have. Is there a player experience or is that returning player? I think it's returning player. Yes, I mean maybe city is important to you because that might help, so you could move that over too. So anything that helps you, and it's a lot easier than creating a report. You can just kind of deal with it right on the screen. So I can see here what my background check, what the background check status is for this particular coach. So again, you want to make sure that this person is okay before you even assign them to a team. But in our case, because we're testing, I'm going to assign both of these to the black team. So that's it. You highlight the players and coaches that you want and hit assign next to the team. They're on a team. They can't see anything, but they are on a team. So I talked before about the player participation programs for the Junior Giants. If you want rostered volunteers like team parents to be able to update that information, you have to activate that team. So you have to make it live, and what happens is they get this thing called Team Wall, so they get their own set of communication tools, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to activate this team, and if you have 50 teams and you don't want to click buttons for them, you can activate all of them. Coach Preview is not going to give, it's not going to give the rostered volunteers access to update player participation programs. The only level is the activate now. And you see you start getting emails. So this is something to know, that when you activate a team, the rostered volunteers get an email, but the players also get an email because they have access to a few of the communication tools. So let's just the team. Just want to show you what the team wall looks like. Now, I will warn you, today, because of course I was having a webinar, they updated team wall, and I'm hoping stuff actually works in here. It was a little bit dicey before, so we're coming out very soon, very soon, which is why they're making all these changes. We're coming out with an app for Team Wall, which is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Team parents can update this information, using their phone or their iPad right on the field. They don't have to wait until they get home. So it's going to be great. We're not great yet. we're making changes. So Team Chat it gives the team the ability to just chat with each other. So think of Facebook, it's a secure environment, it's just for the team. So they can, like, hey, we're all going to get together and do a car wash, and people can start pinging back and forth what they can bring, and that's good. Emailing teams, so rostered volunteer has the ability to email their team members. Looks similar to what we did before, but it's going to list out all the teams they can add, delete people as they need. Texting team, same deal. People still have to have opted in to receive texts. One thing I didn't say, though, is if you choose, so if a rostered volunteer and an administrator choose to text the team, which is hard for me to say, then everyone who signed up for text is going to receive a text. Anyone who's not signed up to receive a text, or is going to receive an email. It doesn't work the opposite way. If I email a team, everyone's going to receive an email. But if I choose text, then the people who are opted in get a text. The people who aren't opted in get an email, which is nice. All right, notification settings. So you have to have a schedule for this. If there's a schedule that's been added by an administrator, then there can be some nice automated notifications that get sent out for games, practices, so-and-so. You can set when, and it's quite nice. So manage team info, which was not working before. Oops, I skipped down. This is going away, so ignore that. View roster. Rostered volunteers can look at the roster. If there are pictures, they can see them. They can print the roster. They cannot edit the roster. Only administrators who have privileges can edit the roster. So schedule, they should have access to do schedule, but this was not working before, so I'm not even going to click on it because I don't want things to break. And this is a new view. So again, this is where we're moving towards with the app. So you'll have a list of all the players that need information edited. So you hit edit for that player. You see there's all this information. Now it's picking up on the fact that when I was in the player participation program report, I updated this information and saved it, and you can see those edits are already here. So as a team parent, I can just come through and just update it, save it, move on to the next one. And those are the tasks that team players, rostered volunteers who have whole team access can do in the system. So I'm looking, view print roster. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back one. Talked about team access. So you're probably going to want to print rosters. There are a couple of different rosters that you can choose from. My suggestion is just open each one of them and see which one feels the best for you. Formal is one that a lot of people use, so it'll create a PDF of everyone that's on the roster. But update player subject. Okay, we're down to submitting sessions. So this is a task that happens later in the season, but you can do it as many times as you like. There's no reason not to. So when you create your teams, if you want to submit the data up to Junior Giants, by all means you can do that. So it's under Teams and Submit Sessions. Click on the division. And then it's going to list out all the teams that you've created that need to be submitted, and they'll all be checked automatically. And then you just click this Submit button, which I won't do just because it's not really data. And then it gets pushed to the Junior Giants. So if you make team changes, then you're going to need to resubmit the data up to the Junior Giants so they have the most accurate information. And that's the whole season sort of tasks. Of course, we don't expect that you remember all of that. I went very, very quickly, and I never thought that I would become a New Yorker with how fast I talk, but I think I have, finally, unfortunately. And as I said, so just in case, if you forget how to do something, a good place to start is the knowledge database. The Giants also have a whole bunch of help guides. So for the commissioners meeting that's going to be happening on May 2nd, you'll receive, at least this is the way it worked last year. I don't know, I'm assuming it'll be the same this year. I think last year they gave us zip sticks, so a jump drive, so all of the relevant info, whether it's help guides about this or any of their programs, a lot of the information was found on the jump drive, so you have access to pull it down anytime you want. But again, if you find yourself lost, you can't figure out how to maybe submit a session, you can always come here and type in submit session, and it'll get you that answer. And if it doesn't, then feel free to contact support. All the information was again, I have too many screens open. Don't do what I do. Don't open up 52 screens. There we go. So you can just either live chat with us if we're available, or submit a ticket to support@sportsignup.com. I'm going to take a look to see what kind of questions we have, see if I can answer them. Can someone please say something? Oh, sorry, Stephanie. Can you sign someone up prior to March 15th? We have trophy this week and a good time to sign up. The answer is yes. You just need to let me know what date it is that you're looking to open for registrations, or do it yourself. I just showed you how to update your session information, so if it's a matter of copying the session over and updating the registration information, that's not a problem. You can absolutely do that. So there weren't a lot of questions. Anyone else before I close this? Great. Either everyone's asleep or we all know what to do for the upcoming season. Hooray! All right, everyone, thank you so much. Oh, Skip Wallace, do you have a question? Yes. Do you want me to take you off? Hold on. If you wait 1 second, I will. Regarding the URL of your league. Hold on. Wait a second. Hi, Skip. Hello. Oh, sorry, you have no mic. Okay. Once it go live, will it be the same URL we are given? Yes. Yep. The URL is, it's created when we create the system, and I have to give that to the Junior Giants in advance because that needs to be updated on the website. It's the find a league near you. So that URL, the registration URL, which is I'm assuming what you're regarding or questioning, that's what is going to be there. Yep. I hate to say if there's a problem with it, we can change it, because at that point it becomes a real problem getting MLB involved to update the website and things of that nature. Okay, all right. Yeah, if you click on that, you'll see that it takes you to your site. I think that you guys are live, or new rather, and so you've got some extra steps, and you and I need to chat at some point to get you live. All right, everyone, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I hope everyone has a super, super season, and I hope I get the chance to meet you guys. I don't know if I'm coming out in May, but if so, then I look forward to seeing you all then. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.